games in what feels like, and I believe actually is like 2 years. And the Gacha, I mean, maybe it's just coincidence, but almost every single Gacha creator's analytics have dropped, besides those who have capitalized off of my missing audience, which to those, I salute you. Good job, you're hustling, and I'm glad that you gave my old viewers a place to stay. I haven't talked about Gacha in a very long time. However, there is a game coming out that publicly endorsed me to globally reveal the game to the world. I was actually responsible for the global reveal of Silver Palace. I heard that game was in beta, and there's mixed opinions about it, but I just kind of wanted to listen to one of my favorite Gacha creators, Gacha Smack being one of them, St. Tontas being another, about the state of Gacha games in 2026, just for a trip down memory lane.
Gentlemen, we are approaching what I would like to believe is the end of an era, and I want to talk to you today about this. I think it's a very fascinating topic to delve into, and it's perfect and ripe for the particular season we're in with Gacha gaming.
That is, I mean, that sucks to hear. I know a lot of people like Gacha games, but I would like to ask you a question. What is the point of playing a Gacha game that you spend thousands of dollars to get C6 characters for when you could just play a real game like Hollow Knight for $20 and get like 85 to 160 hours of content for $20? Now, if you're playing Gacha games for free, go ahead, but let's also be completely legitimate. These games only have a day or two of content every 6 weeks. Usually it's not even that good. So why not just play a real game instead, like Elden Ring or any of the Miyazaki games, or, you know, any Team Cherry games or any of the Persona games? Like, there's so many games out there, and now the Gacha market has become so saturated where they all feel like they're becoming lifeless shells of what they once were. Barring examples like Nikkei for the Gooners and Wuthering Waves for actual game enjoyers. Other than that, there's not really anything worth a damn at all. And by the way, I told everybody that NTE was going to die within 2 weeks, and I was vilified for that fucking take. Sorry for giving you guys the right answer a little bit too early for you guys to digest it, but that game fell off a fucking cliff, and everybody knows it. But yeah, let's double check NTE on Twitch. This game doesn't even have 1,000 viewers. And in English, it has less than 200 viewers. I apologize if what I say offends you, but I can't help that I was right while everybody else was wrong. What do you want me to do? NTE is asked, but has the best Gacha system on the market. I would have hoped new games would have copied from it. It doesn't matter if your Gacha system is good. If you have to interact at all with the Gacha system in order to enjoy it, the game is trash. If you can't enjoy a Gacha game without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on it, the game is ass. It is. It is. I'm sorry. If you ever feel the urge to spend $100 on a different character, the game is immediately ass. And when I realized that, that's what set me free. Because I used to believe it was fine. But when I broke the chains and I realized, why would I want to play a game that makes me feel like I want to spend thousands of dollars for a minor difference? When I can just go play Elden Ring. When I can just go play fucking Fire Emblem. Play a Legend of Zelda. Like the infinite, I haven't even played Metal Gear Solid yet. There's so many games I still haven't played. Why the fuck would I want to play a game that incentivizes me to pay $10,000 for a cosmetic?
If you are like me, and I'm pretty sure you are, many of you are, you weren't a Gacha addict before Genshin Impact, and you weren't even a Gacha player before Genshin Impact.
I was. I played many Gachas before Genshin Impact. I played Arknights, Ulala, Sinnoh, Elune, Skylanders, Ring of Heroes, Summoner's War. Yeah, no, I was OG Gacha head. The problem is the genre just never innovated, and all of the games became the same boring fucking slop. Every game felt exactly the same. HSR is the same game as Genshin Impact. It is. There's barely any difference. It's the same shit slop, and all of their gameplay is dog shit. It is, barring Wuthering Waves.
That was the first game you got into. The game was so monumentally massive because of the pandemic,
yes,
and that it was also a fresh game in the space that it brought in a heaping amount of players outside of the Gacha space.
Yes, the other problem is every game decided to copy Genshin Impact because they saw the success, because they were too fucking retarded to realize the only reason why Genshin blew up to the degree that it did was because of the pandemic. And they thought that was the cause that Genshin was good, when in reality, it was just right place, right time. So a lot of companies just copied the same shit formula that nobody really liked to begin with if they weren't stuck in their houses for 4 fucking years.
Normies, people from different respective niches, so on and so forth. And the good thing about that experience when it happened is that that was also the very first time a lot of people got to play a gacha game. And
Yes.
talk all the shit you will about gacha games, there are some very fun aspects about them. And those fun aspects were overwhelmingly positive for a fresh experience, right? We had our V cards like basically cracked with this game. And so the hype, the FOMO, the oohs and ahs, you know, when you play a gacha game at launch, its climax, it's what do you call it? Honeymoon phase is incredibly powerful.
Yes. So that is the best part of gacha games, is the first week of playing a gacha game is unlike anything else. The only thing I can even compare it to is day one MMO dropping, which is like insane because the dopamine they front load you with when you start a gacha is unfucking believable. Like it's like going to Vegas with $1,000 of your homie's money. It's incredible. Or MMOs on day one when you're all seeing to who can get the furthest ahead. It's amazing. That's why I will usually try new gachas, but realize I'm gonna stop once the maintenance period kicks in and all of that dopamine drops. But they are very good for a week or so. You just gotta not spend.
When you play a gacha game for the first time, it's infinitely more powerful than you would think. But basically this happened and people fell in love with these games, and it allowed them to basically have kind of like a tunnel vision for ignoring the predatory practices, the alarming problems of what
essentially what gacha day one is love bombing you into an abusive relationship.
Comes with playing a gacha game. And you were able to get away with these garbage practices as a developer because there also wasn't any other games to compare, to reference in the mainstream space, especially to noobs who don't know anything about gacha games.
Facts.
You were able to get away with this, basically. But then what happens? Time starts to go by and these issues start to become more apparent and alarming, and players start complaining and they start looking for another game in that respective niche to play, because at that time it's not oversaturated. It's not a fragmentation at the point in time, right? So then Honkai Star Rail comes out and that becomes the next cope for playing a gacha game that isn't Genshin Impact. That's going to be better. It's going to be different. But then you realize you're playing two gacha games now that both have 50-50 systems, right? So that same wallet is now having to spend just a little bit more money, even if they aren't spending as much money on one individual game. You combine what they're spending on two games and it's increasing, and everybody has a budget.
I think you're genuinely a fucking loser if you're bouncing 3 gacha games at the same time. Even 2. Like, guys, Toho Sniper balances 17. How's that guy doing? Let's see here. Toho Sniper. He said that my career's over. This guy got 44,000 views this month. He says my career's over. Brother, I got 18.4 million, which means, oh my God, what is that? I got like 700x his viewership, and he says that my career's over. Brother, what does that say about yours? Oh my God. Let me actually double check. Is Enviosity still doing shit? Envy is, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's still dead. What about Atsu? Asian guy stream. Is he still alive? How's he doing? Oh my God. He's dead too? What? He's dead too? No way. Surely Mr. Pokey's doing good. Damn. Good for you, Mr. Pokey. God damn. Hey, you know what? Good for him. Hey. I would like to say, I have dropped all the hatred and vitriol of Mr. Pokey. I forgive him. Water under the bridge. I no longer give a fuck. I hope he's having a wonderful life. Good for him. How's our goat Saint Totas going? Wait, Saint Totas doesn't like Gacha Smack? Really? That's a shame. I think Saint Totas and Gacha Smack are great. Dude, Saint Totas is killing it. 5 million views this month? Bro, good shit. Okay. All right. Good for them, bro. Wait, how is just Gacha Smack doing? You know, dude, watching these videos always makes me nostalgic. I do miss this group, man. They're good people. Gacha Smack's doing okay. He is. You know what? But here's the thing. Gacha Smack, this to him is a side hustle because he actually has a real job. He has a real job and he has a wife and kids. So in my humble opinion, if Gacha Smack is still averaging 1 million views every month while having a wife, while having a child, while having a job, I think he's doing the best, low key. I love this man. I do. God bless this man. He does a lot and still makes sure to take care of his community. I think Gacha Smack's the fucking man. I do. Wait, how's 7 out of 10 doing? Genizad. No, he never kind of did YouTube videos. Wait, let me check. Surely on Twitch he's owning. I love Genizad, by the way. I love Genizad. God damn! He's owning. Good for him. I'll have to hit him up sometime. Ask him how Silver Palace is doing. Hey, are Saint Totas and Genizad good yet? Oh God, I hope he's not reacting to this. If he's reacting to this, he's gonna be really upset that I said that. Are Genizad and Saint Totas good yet or no? No. And I don't think Saint Totas likes Gacha Smack either. Him and Smack are fine. Oh no, Genizad and Smack are always good. Okay, well, you know what? I don't want to be clipped and be involved in any gacha drama. I don't want to get stuck in the vortex. I want to make it very clear. I am reacting to this one video, and then I'm going back to my commentary slop. All right, so everybody else leave me alone. If you want to come on a Rumble and talk to me, you can. I'm not getting involved in no gacha drama vortex. No, sir. No, sir. Don't care. Anyways, we're back.
Everybody only has so much money that they can spend on one individual gacha game, let alone 2, 3, or 4. So what happens is the space has to increase in volume and popularity, because if it doesn't, well, then you just have the same players spending the same money from their wallets. That's only going to carry you so far, right? And so what happens after this? Wuthering Waves comes out, the real Genshin killer. At least that's what they were being marketed as, whether they want it to or not. More players start playing that game. Some of them leave Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail to play this game. Some of them stay there. Others start playing 3 different gacha games at once. But regardless, a lot of players aren't coming into the space the way they did when the pandemic announced Genshin Impact.
It's because of me, to be honest. There's just not an entertainer like me. And that's the reality. Nobody can do what I did for gachas. And that's the God's honest truth. You can hate me, you can love me. You understand, factually, nobody can do what I did for gacha games more than anybody else. Nobody got gachas to break into the mainstream like I did. Nobody hosted events like I did. Nobody makes content like I did. Nobody could ever perform at the level I did for as long as I did. I've been doing that shit for years. But the reality is, I wish they could. But let's just be completely honest. There's nothing even remotely close to the Gacha cast or any of the Gacha guessers or any of the daily contents. I mean, shit, even the guides. These people are lucky I left. They are. They're very, very, very lucky. They can enjoy my scraps for as long as they like. They can live off the fumes, but the reality is, Gacha creators, you either need to pivot out of the space or start looking for employment. You will not be able to sustain your life off this. Spend wisely, start investing, or you're going to fuck your life up. And that's the truth. You may hate me for saying that, but I'm saying that because that's what's best for you.
It's kind of just the same players circulating around and trying different gacha games. Well, this particular dynamic and pathing continues to happen, but it speeds up rapidly as we know it. We know how this story goes. More and more gacha games start coming out. You got Chaos Zero Nightmare. You got Love in Deep Space. You've got Arknights Infield. You've got Neverness to Everness. You've got many other gacha, Nikke, Goddess of Victory, Girls Frontline 2, Exilium. All of these gacha games start coming out, but a lot of them are still doing 50-50 systems. Chaos Zero Nightmare did a 50-50 system. Girls Frontline 2, Exilium did it. You've got Uma Musume. You've got Star Savior, which aren't even 50-50s. They might even be worse because you can keep pulling until you just hopefully get the character. But one thing that's for certain is the gacha space as a whole is not actually expanding, and if it is, it isn't enough to compensate for that fragmentation and oversaturation of rapid gacha games releasing with these 50-50 systems. And so what's one thing we learned as time goes by? I remember in the beginning, I tried to tell people so much about these predatory practices and how much money you're actually spending on these games is ludicrous, that these companies are making too much money, and it was falling on so many deaf ears. But you speed up today, and people now understand that phenomenon, that problem, glaring. It's a glaring problem. Because they're starting to play all these different gacha games. Some of them are trying to manage multiples at once, and they're spending so much money. Why? One of the reasons, because of the 50-50 system. Losing it means spending a lot more money than you're comfortable with spending. And nobody wants to feel like they lost trying to acquire a character. Spending money to acquire a character in
You take anime fans and gambling fans and you put them into one. Do you think you're going to get a mentally sane individual? No, absolutely not. And when you tell somebody they spent their money unwisely, it's going to drive them fucking insane. So yeah, essentially it's a bunch of addicts that you can't speak common sense to, otherwise they lose their fucking mind and try to kill you.
Of itself is a fool's errand. It's foolish, but it's also a part of the gacha culture. And that's a battle I gave up on a long time ago. However, if you could choose to have a 50-50 system or not have a 50-50 system, most would say F the 50-50 system.
Absolutely.
Well, now we're living in a gacha space where developers are competing for your time and your money because the gacha space isn't increasing in volume enough to overcompensate for oversaturation and fragmentation. And when those two variables compound on top of each other, now you get a very competitive market where the future gacha games now have to give you better incentives, better monetary incentives and practices for free-to-play friendly games and dynamics, so that you want to try their game and potentially leave the game you're playing or try to squeeze in their game with the game you're playing.
This is what bums me out about Gacha Smack is that he's too good for this space, bro. Like, Genizad should stay in gachas because he lives and eats and shits this shit. And Jen is very good at gachas. But like creators like Saint Tontas and Gacha Smack, they're limiting themselves so much by only talking about gacha games. Like, I could listen to those two talk about fucking anything, and it blows. It really does. It does. Even a creator like somebody who I don't like Tawano. Tawano is way too good for gacha games, but he just, you know, they limited themselves, man. I wish they would do more things and make different content. They would be so good at it. It blows. It sucks. Especially Smack, bro. Did I miss this guy? This guy's the man.
And here lies the problem. Here comes
Gacha Smack is one of the reasons why I started to be more open to the idea of having kids. Yeah, no, he's a great father, great husband, great guy. I do believe that. He's a very good man. He's a very good man. You can hate his content, I don't care, but the guy behind it, very solid individual.
the end of an era. Because this is becoming a over-glaring problem for developers and publishers, they now are forced naturally to make their games way more accessible and free-to-play friendly than the ones you're currently playing. And this is where things get interesting, because the first game to really make that power move was Neverness to Everness, not a PvP, and that's very important, because Epic 7 and Summoner's War and Etheria Restart, people will try and say those games have guaranteed no 50-50s. That doesn't matter because they're PvP, and if they did...
Summoner's War doesn't have guaranteed 50-50s. Oh, Summoner's War gacha system is fucking terrible. They have like 1,200 units in rotation, and it's a 2% to get a 5-star. And then if you get a unit, each unit has 5 different forms, and usually only 1 or 2 of them are actually usable. No, Summoner's War gacha system is fucking terrible, but it's also the best gacha system ever made. And the reason why that is because everybody's account is different. And that's what made it special. So sometimes you can make a gacha system so bad and make the unit pool so diluted that everybody's account is different, and that's what makes the game so good. Yeah, unironically, I would say that Summoner's War has the best gacha system because it's so fucking bad.
Make their game a guaranteed rate up, people would just quit them, because who the hell wants to play a PvP game where you're gambling on getting characters that are meta? Nobody wants to do that, not in a PvP game. But when a single player game comes along and says, we're doing no 50-50, we're not doing it, we're giving up on that, we'll get our bag by various means such as cosmetics and such, but we are done with the 50-50 system. That is a huge power move by that particular developer that's also going to ripple and affect future gacha games and pre-existing gacha games. And it's the first step to going in the right direction, truly, especially when you consider fragmentation and oversaturation, right? Now, we're in a space where...
Oh, here's the best thing about Summoner's War. When a new character comes out, there's no rate up banner. It just gets added to the pool of 1,300 units. I shit you not. And so, like, when a new unit comes in, you have no guarantee at all to get it. So if you do get it at any point in history, you're like, holy shit, this is insane. Like, when you get a character, people are like, what the fuck? You have that guy? God damn. It's so good, bro. It's so good because of how bad it is.
When a game starts to drop, the first thing people question is there a 50-50 system? People have become so overly sensitive to the 50-50 system that they won't even touch the game if it's a 50-50. If it's officially confirmed 50-50, oh, not playing it. Some people right now are jumping to conclusions on rumors, and it's not even confirmed yet by the devs of Silver Palace if there actually is a 50-50 or if it's Arknight's infill, whatever. But people are so sensitive.
I'm going to try Silver Palace no matter what when it becomes publicly available.
To it. Like, nope, I'm out. And I think this was the natural pathing of...
I'm just never wailing on a gacha game ever again. I'm just going to play it. And once it stops being fun, I'm going to stop and I'm never going to go back. I'm not going to watch the updates. I'm not going to watch the character trailers. I don't care. I'll play it while it's fun. And when I don't want to play it, I'm done playing it. Just like every other game I've played in history. Problem is gacha game players think that once you start a gacha game, you have to play it for the rest of your life. No, I'm good. I'll play it, enjoy it, then I'll drop it.
What has transpired in the gacha space, right? But getting back to NTE, the best thing that people can do by saying you don't want a 50-50 is support games with no 50-50s in the space. Yep. This is very common logic. It's not like you need a rocket science degree to understand this phenomenon.
True.
If you doom post NTE, well, then you're also telling the developers, future gacha game developers, we don't care if you even put no 50-50 in your game. We're still going to doom post it. So why would I remove my 50-50? I mean, NTE did it. They still hated on the game. Let's just go proceed with the 50-50 because they're playing Wuthering Waves. They're playing Arknight's Infill. They're playing Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rails, Endless on Zero. All those games have 50-50s and they're making a heaping amount of money off of it.
The problem with Gacha Smack is he's trying to reason with retards. And he's never going to change anybody's mind because everybody in that space is fucking retarded. I find it hilarious that I can talk about racial superiority and transgenderism and receive people who are like, oh, I never thought of that. And then I'll talk about a gacha mechanic and tell you why a character's bad, and I get met with, I'll fucking kill you in real life. The gacha community is brain dead retards. It's embarrassing. And if you're in the gacha space, you know I'm right. And you know I'm not talking about you. You know the people I'm talking about.
Guys, well, clearly getting rid of the 50-50 isn't the issue. You see where I'm going? Silver Palace is another game coming into the mainstream space, and all eyes are on its gacha system. This is good. This is wonderful. Because what y'all are going to do is you're going to compare it to Neverness to Everness. That's what you should do. You compare it to the best market contender in the mainstream space, and that's Neverness to Everness.
That's what they should do, but they're not going to.
Or a free-to-play, consumer-friendly experience. By doing that, you are now forcing another mainstream space game to have to confine to that principle, because if they don't, it's going to be a massive market capture loss. And on top of that, just recently, facing Collider Rider, another upcoming gacha game that's not PvP, that's important, just announced no 50-50, and they're adding limited banners into the standard banner upon their banners expiring. This is, again, in the right direction. Another game people need to support. It's important you support these games because that's how you tell future developers, we don't want 50-50s in our games.
Sure.
But them on top of NTE doing this, not only is it going to put pressure on future gacha games, it's going to put pressure on pre-existing gacha games too. Because what's going to happen is people who are...
Just like I put pressure on Genshin Impact to make the weapon banner change, and they did it. You're welcome, by the way. Dude, Genshin Impact players should be sucking my dick, by the way. I fixed their game so much, and they crucified me. Embarrassing community.
Playing these current gacha games are going to go, hey, hold on now. Why aren't you guys doing this? Why couldn't y'all have added these limited characters into the standard banner? Why do you still have to do this 50-50? You're making plenty of money.
Yeah, I literally saved the player base billions of dollars, right? But once again, they hated Jesus as well for telling the truth.
This is an overall net positive for the gacha space. And this is why I said this is potentially entering the end of an era, and that era is the 50-50 era. Now, do I think that Wuthering Waves and, Hoyoverse and current pre-existing market captures are going to die upon all of this happening? No, but it is going to take away and trickle away from their audience. There's going to be a lot of players that are going to stay because they're loyal and they have sunk cost fallacy and they just love the game so much. And that's...
Don't say loyal, say delusional.
It's okay. But there's going to be players who are playing and they're like, you know what, I'm out, man. These other games are just way more free-to-play friendly, way more accessible. And as I said before, I only have so much money in my wallet. I only have so much time for free time for playing video games. And me trying to keep up with this very expensive game where a big part of my enjoyment is character collection, it's too expensive. I can't afford it. Why would I spend $150 to just acquire a character absent of their weapon when I can go to this game over here and spend $75 and get the character and their weapon? You see what I'm...
Imagine spending $75 for a character and a weapon and thinking that's a good business decision. Is that not disgusting? Guys, for the price of Elden Ring and its DLC, you can get a character and make the character 20% stronger. You're fucking retarded if you're doing that. You legitimately are. Like, unless you got like fuck it money, if you're putting yourself into financial turmoil to get a character and make it 20% stronger, you're fucking retarded. Like you are. You're just a fucking idiot.
I'm saying it's very common sense. At the end of the day, I think we are naturally going in that direction, but it's important that the consumer remains conscious.
And once again, you can say that's hypocritical coming from me. No. It is incredibly more accurate and impactful because it's coming from me. Because I woke up from that delusion years ago. As well as hopefully anybody watching this will hopefully wake up from that same delusion. Stop encouraging people to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on these games. You are ruining your life. And that's the truth.
These games and the monetary incentives that they're doing. I think it's great that people scrutinize Silver Palace in future games in terms of whether...
Well, you also made money playing the game? Oh, absolutely. I would have never spent as much as I did if I wasn't making millions of dollars doing so. And that's the big difference, that there are people doing that shit for free, which is insane. Now, I would like to say I spent more money than I had in my bank account on Summoner's War because I was also very weak back then. But I'm glad I woke up, and hopefully I can help others wake up just like I did.
They're doing 50-50s, so on and so forth. This is not to say that a 50-50 system cannot work anymore. I do understand how resource acquisition works. And there's games with 50-50, like Chaos Zero Nightmare. I haven't played it in a while, but it was a game with a 50-50 system, but you were pretty much able to gather every character because of how much resources they were giving you on a patch-to-patch basis. I understand that phenomenon, but at the end of the day, guys, a 50-50 system feels like shit when you lose, and it often helps the house make more money.
Yes,
that's just the reality of it, and that's why they do it. The house wins, and when it comes to gambling, all the time. That's going to be the topic of this video for today. You guys comment down below. Let me know.
Great video. Let's just be real. Gacha games died when I stopped playing them. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. And I'm never coming back, baby. Until Ananta or Silver Palace public release. God, I hope those games are good. Fuck, I really hope those games are good. We'll see.